What is your view of the market right now?
So the point you're talking about there is television, film. That's under a lot of pressure at the moment, right? You have the streaming bonanza, you could say war, if you want to be dramatic, but that is changing now. I think you can see that yourself, yes? You've seen a lot of consolidation in the broadcast sector. You've seen a lot of consolidation between the people that own the rights of the entertainment and producing the content. And we have really had a bonanza of that over the last 10, 15 years. I think the cause of where we are today goes back to technology, goes back to stresses outside of entertainment. The entertainment is created by eyeballs, watching material, consuming, advertising, etc. And a lot of that advertising revenue has gone in a more social media type, more IT-centric way. But EditShare doesn't only work in that, because you have corporate media teams which are very large today. And there's lots of information because they're trying to explain to their clients how to use their product, how to consume the product, and how to look after the product, and the future products that are coming towards them.
How would you describe EditShare?
In the simplest way, we're collaborative storage for creative users, and we also have Flow, which is a PAM, so you can see all your material, and the storage is extremely capable. So you can have from a small post-production house up to a tier 1 broadcaster. We're in corporate, we're in education, anyone that does media. We only concentrate on media as a company, and that's how I come from the media background, and my 2 other founders both come from media background, and Andy was a documentary maker.
Servers are collaborative by nature, whether it's Synology or QNAP or any of the others that are out there. What makes EditShare unique?
Well, that's a really good question, isn't it, right? What makes us unique is we spend all our time and energy making the editing experience very good. So we have something called SwiftRead. I've sold many different storage solutions. They may come under storage, but they're not all very good at media, right? Now, they're very good at being IT storage, but we optimize for the creative feel of when you have a timeline and you have many streams, and we guarantee that.
Well, how do you optimize? I'm not asking for how the code works, but sure. What makes media so challenging?
Well, some of the creative tools in the past, they have got better. They've had encryption and closed databases, so you have to work with that. And we were the first shared storage product outside of Avid to work with Avid, creative tools like Media Composer. You also have to understand how a file system works. So over 14 years ago, we decided to bring our own file system. So we've been making a cluster file system. To have a real cluster, you need 3 nodes, but then we brought it very democratically. We said you can start with 1 and you can expand out. And it's the way you optimize the data going into the system, the way it's laid down on the drives. Now, there is a big difference, and I'm not going to go into all the details here, between spinning disk and SSD or solid state and NVMe, okay? There is a difference there. But lots of people still use spinning disks, and we have a whole complete new range called Ultimate here that is based on spinning disks, and it's the way you access that material. And you have many people accessing one file at the same time if they're working collaboratively to do the production. And it's the way you access that file and the way we give you that information is extremely important. So we do tricks within our system to make that possible very smoothly.
Media moves a lot of data in a very short period of time. What do you find as an optimal workgroup size for EditShare?
Well, if you're collaborative, it's always good having 2 minimum, but you go up to thousands.
Really?
Yeah, we have NVMe nodes that do 18 gig throughput. Because we're a cluster file system, it's linear. So you have 18 gig throughput, you put another one, you have 36 and 54, and it goes up and up and up like that. So we also have tiered storage. So you have tier 1 online, and then you go to parking storage. And 1 petabyte of parking storage today is about $100,000. If you want to have no single point of failure, for $300,000, you've got no single point of failure. Your content is the most valuable asset you have for your client, probably, if you're working for a client, or if you're producing yourself. So you want to make sure that's secure.
What have you got that's new?
We announced a whole new range. So we work with HPE on Gen 11. So we have you can see NVMe here. And then we have a new range called Ultimate Series that is more cost effective greater throughput and double the capacity. The hard drives keep moving forward, which is a really good sign, right? And then we brought back our small portable field units. And so we have a baby field on there. Now, these are used in the past. This is our 4th generation of that product. We've been in business 20 years, as I mentioned before, yes? So in 2004, we were incorporated. And so this year, we brought back at IBC Field 4. And we don't call it Field 4, but that's all based on NVMe. It's amazing, the throughput of that. And it's in the past, that's been used on, sports events, corporate events, news crews. You can take it out. You can sync back to EditShare. With the EditShare file system, we can have multiple sites around the world all connected together. You talked about some of our secret ingredients, if you like. So we have SwiftLink, so you can have remote users. You can have people in-house editing. They're editing the same material as well. We have a client in New York. So they have an EditShare here, and they have some people. Well, they have one person, not some. They have one person in Hawaii who's doing projects with the SwiftLink. Then you have the Swift Sync between the different locations. The world is round, I've been told, right? And I believe that. I'm a bit tired right now, I must admit. I don't know why, because it's only my mid-afternoon. But it was a very busy day yesterday at the show. Technology stack you need to have today, Larry, is humongous for media teams, because they're doing so much. And the reason I like being in media, and I've been in media for a quarter of a century now, is it's always pushing the technology boundary, right? And storage is like that as well. As I mentioned, drives get bigger. When we first started out, we thought 4 terabytes as a system was amazing. Yeah, and perhaps you don't know this, but we didn't allow you to delete for the first 6 months because we hadn't invented that technology, right? But you can delete now, don't worry. But yeah, it's very important to look after your material, right? So, yeah.
What is your view of the market right now?
Well, at EditShare, we work with all media crews. So the point you're talking about there is television, film. That's under a lot of pressure at the moment, right? You have the streaming bonanza. You could say war, if you want to be dramatic. But that is changing now. I think you can see that yourself, yes? You've seen a lot of consolidation in the broadcast sector. You've seen a lot of consolidation between the people that own the rights of the entertainment and producing the content. And we have really had a bonanza of that over the last 10, 15 years. I think the cause of where we are today goes back to technology, goes back to stresses outside of entertainment. The entertainment is created by eyeballs, watching material, consuming, advertising, etc. And a lot of that advertising revenue has gone in a more social media type, more IT-centric way. And the traditional broadcasters were used to earning lots of margin, and they're adjusting their market. The marketplace is adjusting, and they're adjusting to that as well. You can see that by all the consolidation that's taking place. But EditShare doesn't only work in that, because you have corporate media teams, which are very large today. And there's lots of information, because they're trying to explain to their clients how to use their product, how to consume the product, and how to look after the product, and the future products that are coming towards them. So we have a client such as Air France, and they produce thousands of videos a year for internal communications between their teams. I mean, they probably have 20,000 people working at a company like Air France, yes? So how do you coordinate that? How do you explain how to change a tire of a Boeing? How do you do that? Well, you go for your training sessions, and video is a very quick tool. What's the expression? A picture's worth 10,000 words? Is that correct, I think, in the old publication way? I wonder what a video is worth. It's probably a million, isn't it, right? So you can be very quickly trained on that. It's a difficult marketplace right now because of what happened with the writer's strike and how that's affected. And of course, Hollywood or California is extremely important to the world marketplace. I've seen that in the UK. I have a UK accent. I'm British, but I work globally, as you're probably aware. And that ripple effect has gone global now.
What are you seeing as the impact of AI, and have you put any AI in your products?
Yeah, so just answer the second part first. We have AI in our products, if you so desire that. It's very useful in media to know what media you have. And lots of people have massive archives that have not been correctly metadated or archived. And so you can use AI on that, and that means you can find material. Repurposing your material is a very good revenue source. Intercutting old movies into new movies, and you've seen this recently on some of the productions done out of California. So I think AI is very important. I love technology. I haven't. I think it describes everything in a forest, and I think you have to be very careful of describing everything in a forest because you get so much information. There's probably a better term, but you get overload, and then you have to do lots of work, which we're doing, to increase your speed of search, to do AI searching. So the whole thing becomes more of a snowball that's going down, tumbling down the mountain and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I see AI everywhere. It's an add-on. It can be very cost-effective, but it can be very expensive as well.
As you look at the industry, as we've talked about, there's a lot of stress going on. What makes you optimistic?
Well, I've seen stress before. I think you have as well. I've seen innovation push through that stress. I've seen the explosion in the early 2000s of people buying their own editing systems and how do they connect those together. I see that people are very connected now. And if you look at the way that those creative tools work, you can do some amazing collaboration globally. And we have a little tool that I mentioned before, because we produce our EditShare file system, we can do multi-sites. So you can have an office in London, Toronto, LA, India, and it can all be connected together and moving that material across. So I think that's really impressive. We're not the only company. I think that's impressive to see how companies have got a global footprint. And especially in animation. Animation is extremely, it's time consuming, yes? And you can see that, and they use a lot of that type of technology, which is really good.
What would you like people to remember about EditShare, if you were to summarize the company?
Innovation, innovative company. We try and solve problems, and we do that, and we've done that. That's in our DNA. We come from the industry. I used to be an editor. I used to train editors. And used to make documentaries, and James had his own documentary company, and we had problems to solve, and we solved those problems. We did that yesterday, and we're going to do that today, and we're going to do that tomorrow. And we so happen to be a storage company with workflow. So yeah, innovator. I think that's how you survive in this industry.